Hello everybody, my name is Arl Legrand, and one of my big personal obsessions is cut content in video games. Like, specifically a handful of video games that I'm very passionate about, and The Elder Scrolls Oblivion is one of those games. So, I am going to start making cut content videos about this subset of games that I personally like a lot, and once again, like I said, I'm very passionate about cut content. I like that kind of stuff. It excites me quite a bit. This will be the first of this type of video I'm going to do, and this video specifically is going to be a little bit less structured and a little bit more freeform, because for this video we're just running through the E3 2005 demo showing that was done, and along the way we will stop and we will look at, discuss changes or cuts that were made or things that are different from what we actually see in the game. And the reason we're starting here is because I wanted to remaster that video I made about 2 years ago to start this stuff with. So, and another reason I actually wanted to redo that video is because I only covered about 1/4 of the entire demo presentation. So we're going to look through the entire demo presentation in this video and look at the cut and removed content from it. So, without any further explanation, let's get into the video.
Hi, I'm Todd Howard of Bethesda Softworks, and welcome to our demo of The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion. Last year marked the 10th anniversary of The Elder Scrolls, a series that has grown in popularity over that time, culminating with the release of Morrowind for the PC and the Xbox in 2002. Millions of gamers have been waiting to see the sequel, and we're really excited to show it to you here on this video preview for the first time. The key to each Elder Scrolls title is reinvention. We actually start over each time. This takes a while, but we feel it's essential to the series and its popularity over that decade.
So, starting here, we can already see massive changes to even the loading screen, as well as a very important change to the map that was made. One major change that was made to the title screen is, obviously, the slideshow of locations or set pieces that you see in the middle, whereas the release version does retain the map scroll. One massive change that you hear is that the title song is different from what the actual title song ends up being in Oblivion. This song sounds a little bit more amateurish, and it more closely follows the melody that we hear in the title songs of Morrowind and Skyrim. The actual title song of Oblivion does follow this melody, but much more loosely than this version of the title song does. Now, probably the most important thing we see here is the city or county of Such, which is not in the release game. This major town, this major settlement, does not make it into the game. It does exist in lore, and it is a location that in lore has changed hands multiple times between the different realms or provinces of Tamriel, but it is not in the base game. It was cut entirely, and its only remnant is the fort of Such. And one notable thing about the area where Such was during development is in that specific location on the map, there's a massive lapse in things like foliage and rocks, just general nature stuff that you don't see anywhere else. The County of Such is most definitely a subject which deserves its own video, so I'm not going to talk too much about it here. Just take note that at this point in development, Such was still a thing that existed on the map.
So with Oblivion, we wanted to start fresh. We wanted to create for a whole new generation a game that captures those things that excite people about role-playing games in the first place. The setting, the action, the heroism, being able to choose their own path. We set out to create the RPG for the next generation. So we looked back at all the games we had done, from Arena to Daggerfall, Morrowind, and asked ourselves, what can the future of games be? Not just RPGs, but all games. How can they entertain? How can they go to the next level? We hope you like some of our answers. We've been working on this game for 3 years. We've never been more excited about a project. We hope you enjoy it, and let's jump right in. We built Oblivion from day one to be a next-generation game for both the PC and the Xbox 360. We've always tried to make our worlds come alive visually, but Oblivion takes this to new levels. Here are the results. This is where the game starts, like our others, in prison. You are a nameless hero. It's up to you to determine who you will be. We use several types of texturing on every surface: diffuse maps, specular maps, normal maps, and parallax maps. All of these together on a next-gen GPU create some unparalleled visuals.
Here we're going to start getting into looking at visual comparisons, and one thing that you can see very quickly from the E3 presentation to the actual release game is that the lighting in the actual release game ended up getting massively blown up compared to what it was in the E3 demo. And of course, in any presentation, any E3, anything that's shown to the public to create hyper excitement for the game, there will always be graphical dishonesty that's just a reality. In the footage that you're seeing right now, I have my graphical settings as high as they go in Oblivion, the highest, the best settings, the best lighting settings, everything, and my brightness is completely untouched from what it actually is in the game. Another minor visual change that you can see between this presentation and the actual release is some stuff in the HUD, especially the magic icon. This magic icon does still exist inside of the game's files, however, it is relegated exclusively as a missing icon texture and is never actually used in the game for any spell at all.
This is all rendering in real-time true HD. Real-world physics, true dynamic soft shadows, you can even see the shadows cast through this rib cage here. This detail carries over to every object in the game. Our artists have painstakingly modeled over 9,000 objects. Throughout the first part of the game, you'll be escaping from this prison and by your actions, determining what kind of character you will be, a warrior, a mage, a thief, or anything in between. This is a wide open game, you choose your own path.
Boris, lock that door behind us.
Yes, sir.
They're dead, aren't they?
We don't know that, sire. The messenger only said they were attacked.
No, they're dead. I know it.
My job right now is to get you to safety.
I know this place. The prison?
Yes, your majesty. Beneath the Legion compound. We're headed for a secret passage known only to the Blades. No one can follow us through here. What's this prisoner doing here? This cell is supposed to be off limits.
Usual mix-up with the watch.
Never mind. Stand back, prisoner. We won't hesitate to kill you if you get in our way.
Prisoner, stand away from the door. Over by the window, now.
No sign of pursuit, sir.
Good.
Stay
Let's go.
put,
We're not out of
prisoner.
this yet.
You. I've seen you. Let me see your face. You are the one from my dreams. Then the stars were right. And this is the day. Gods give me strength.
You'll recognize the voice of Patrick Stewart there. He's just part of an all-star cast that's assembled for this game, and you'll hear more about those actors in the future.
Assassins attacked my sons, and I am next. My blades are leading me out of the city along a secret escape route. By chance, the entrance to that escape route leads through your cell.
Oblivion features over 50 hours of recorded dialogue, all lip-synced in real time. The voices fill half of the game's
I am
DVD.
your emperor, Uriel Septim. By the grace of the gods, I serve Tamriel as her ruler. You are a citizen of Tamriel, and you too shall serve her in your own way. You will find your own path. Take care. There will be blood and death before the end.
Now we're going to take a look at that interaction in the actual release game. You will be able to see that the shadow quality and the lighting quality, as well as the texture and mesh quality of the characters, is greatly reduced compared to that of the E3 presentation.
Let me see your face. You are the one from my dreams. Then the stars were right. Gods give me strength. Assassins attacked my sons, and I am next. My blades are leading me out of the city along a secret escape route. By chance, the entrance to that escape route leads through your cell.
Here you are also able to see the absence of the dynamic shadows that they actually showed off in the presentation.
Please, we must keep moving. Let's not close this.
Looks like this is your lucky day. Just stay out of our way.
Let's jump ahead. We've always wanted to create real forests. They're part of so many great fantasy settings. It's also one of the most difficult things you could try to do in a game. This was not possible in a previous generation. All of this is being generated in real time by the game. Our forests are not hand-placed by an artist.
So I'm not going to turn this into a video where we just talk about things that Todd Howard lies about, because that's been done a million times and there's not a single producer that does not lie about their game whenever they're showing it off at any sort of games convention at all. But I am going to make the statement that you can literally see in the Oblivion making of documentary that these forests are in fact constructed by Cell by artists. These are not procedurally generated. There's an entire section of the actual Oblivion making of documentary where you get to watch the artist explain his thought process and stuff when putting together parts of the cells of the forest. These forests are not procedurally generated.
Our staff spent some time at the University of Maryland Geology Lab studying how soil erodes, how rocks form, and how trees grow. We have the game create that for us. And it all animates with the weather. Oblivion takes place in Cyrodiil, the capital province of Tamriel. It's 16 square miles, and half of that is covered by procedurally generated forest. All of it is open for you to explore as you wish. Forests create some amazing gameplay spaces full of creatures to hunt, like this deer, whose meat will provide stat boosts for you. So you can kill him, take his meat, eat it. You can also pick ingredients out of the plants and use them to create your own powerful potions through your alchemy skills. You could even take the pieces of these mushrooms, mix it with the deer meat, create your own potions. Oftentimes you can get lost, so what we've done with the compass in the bottom is point out cool locations for you to find, like this dungeon up ahead.
Looking back at a comparison of the actual game, you can see that the forests, and this is the same area around the same Aeolid ruin as is shown in the E3 demo, the forests and the lighting, it's all far less saturated. This is the same location, and this is running on the highest graphical settings allowed by Oblivion.
This is an ancient elven ruin, built thousands of years before man walked the face of Tamriel. They're often protected. We're striving for that.
Now we're going to take a look at that encounter reconstructed in the actual game and look at differences.
Am I supposed to be impressed?
As you could see, changes had been made to not only sound effects, but also the health bar, which used to be a half moon that extended around the crosshair in the release game, ends up being more of a small arch that's around the crosshair. In the pre-release version, the health bar also changed color based on how much health the opponent had. So it would be green if they had a lot of health, and it would slowly turn red through orange and yellow as they ran out of health.
True kinetic feeling of guys bashing each other with swords. Little blood never hurts either. Let's head into this dungeon. We've created an all-new combat engine that combines melee, defense, and magic into one system. The game has over 200 dungeons, all handcrafted. By tapping the attack button, I can do quick attacks. If I hold it down, I do power attacks. Blocking is also under my control, and the moves you do are governed by which way you push on the stick and your character's stats. You can also play in third person.
One thing you'll notice about this section is that all of the undead share the exact same noises, and all sword impacts also share the exact same slashing noises. This was before, it has to be assumed that this was before they had extra variant sound effects for hitting specific types of surfaces. The interior of this dungeon is also completely different in the release build of the game. This Ayleid ruin is the Ayleid ruin of Windir. Windir's interior is not at all like this. It's something entirely different, and that's a theme for some of the areas that you'll see within the E3 presentation. They actually have their own E3 cells, and there will be a dedicated video to exploring the E3 cells which are actually functional and can be looked at and explored.
Lots of good minute-to-minute gameplay in our dungeons. There's a lot more dangers other than just the creatures. Another button lets me use magic. This is the heart of the dungeon, these ancient elven power crystals. The elves use these crystals for power that you can also use when you find one of these ruins. Magic, melee, and defense all come together. In this part, we'll look at how systems combine for some cool new stealth gameplay. This is your journal. You probably didn't even notice the RPG system underneath until I pulled this up, and that's intentional. Your character simply improves as you play, getting better at the things you actually do. There are no experience points. I'll equip my bow and arrow here. You can see the quiver on my back. And the arrows even get removed from your quiver when you use them.
One minor change here that I'm going to run through really quickly. The legend on this menu is different from the release game. The legend being the thing that indicates at the very top how much something costs, how much something weighs, how much damage it does, or how much defense it provides, and its health. Those symbols are all different in the release game. In the release game, they're similar symbols. The only difference is they have been made a more brownish color to better fit the actual aesthetic of the menu, and also damage is no longer indicated by a fire, it is now indicated by a sword symbol.
Not all characters are sword-wielding, magic-casting battle mages. Some rely on stealth.
One thing you'll notice throughout this presentation is sound effects and voice actors being reused from Morrowind. The bowstringing sound effect is reused from Morrowind, and later you'll see the Dark Elf voice actor is also reused from Morrowind.
Real-world physics stick these arrows into the correct surfaces, and not into others. They'll bounce off stone, stick in wood, stick in flesh if you choose. You can even pick them back up, and the physics reacts accordingly. going to go to third person. Using the shadows to my advantage, I can sneak through this area. The eye in the middle of the screen tells me that the creatures up ahead can't even see me. There's even special stealth moves you can do with the bow. They're cooking a rat here. You can take his meat too, but the deer is probably better for you. Looks like these two have a trap set up, but they can't see me, so let's try something else.
In the actual release build of the game, physics items cannot set off traps. I went and I tested this, and I absolutely could not get this to work with any of the string traps I went and tried. If I am wrong, I apologize, please say so in the comment section, but as far as I'm aware, in the actual release build of the game, tripwires cannot be set off using physics objects.
Let's head on out. Let's take a look at the other side of the game, our new rating AI system. It allows NPCs to have full 24/7 schedules. These NPCs are not scripted. We give them general goals, and they figure out on their own how to accomplish them. This is the western city of Coral. There are 9 main cities in the game and dozens of smaller settlements. Over 1,000 NPCs live in Oblivion, all with their own schedules and jobs. Cities are a great place to start a lot of your quests. Each city has its own unique shops, good for trading, breaking into at night, making it your own.
Good morning.
The NPCs also have dynamic conversations. These are based on your actions and what's going on in the world. It's a great way to pick up info.
Nilos, hello!
Good to see you, Morris. What news have you heard?
The news is bad. Rumor has it there has been an attack on Kvatch. They say the Daedra attack in great numbers.
Grave news indeed. Perhaps my axe can be of use.
I would imagine so. Goodbye, Nilos.
Here you can hear the Dunmer voice actor from Morrowind, like previously stated, and both of these characters never appear in the game, and as far as I'm aware, nothing related to them actually remains in the files of the game either.
And good luck. Hello. What can this humble bard do for you in these
My characters
troubling
just learned a
times?
new topic based on what they were talking about. I'm going to ask him about
I
that.
wish I knew more about it. Strange gates have appeared, and Daedra swarm the Legion soldiers. They say the streets run red with blood, and the Daedra will soon overtake the entire city. If you're good with a blade, they could use you there.
So now I have a quest.
Gods protect you.
This is a really natural way of doing this. You overhear a conversation, learn a new topic, and ask someone about it. Let's head into this bookstore. We'll see some of the other things the rating AI allows.
Oh, hello. I was actually just about to lock up the store. Is there something I can help you with?
Topics that I don't know the information about yet are colored in gold.
If you're looking for books, you're in the right place.
I asked about Coral, now that topic is gray. This tells you that if you ask it again, you'll get info you already know, so you can quickly see what topics you can learn something new about. This is often based on how much someone likes you. You can use your speechcraft skills to make them like you more. You can admire them, bully them, even tell jokes. By moving the cursor around, I can kind of read the subtle cues on her face, what she might like. Let's try the joke.
That's a good one. An orc in a party dress. I love it.
Here we can actually see something that I find pretty exciting, and that's that the disposition minigame was actually entirely functionally different at one point. It used to be a system where the first thing you said is what would have the most impact on disposition, and then it would slowly reduce and then would assumedly lapse, so you'd go back to having the full bar and you could go through the minigame again. So the entire minigame was originally based on your ability to read the character's facial emotions. However, in the end, this system didn't actually get used because it's very... I would almost describe it as very cheesy. It would be very easy to use this system and get anyone's disposition high because it's entirely reliant on your ability to read Oblivion's rather cheesy facial expressions. In the actual end-game, the way this minigame works is there are 4 different lengths that then cycle around the minigame pie chart thing, and you have to line them up and predict where they're going to go so you can get the higher bars on the ones that the NPC likes more. So it's a little bit more based, it's more of a puzzle than it is in here, just your ability to see what the character's face is trying to communicate.
So now she likes me more.
Everything I've heard is horrible. Creatures coming from magical gates, whole cities being destroyed. It's awful. The whole thing is terrifying, actually. Would you mind staying around for a while, just to keep me company?
The words you choose in dialogue also affect how they feel about you.
There's no reason to be rude. You can leave now if you want. Oh, silly me. I should have known you were only teasing. Please, come on upstairs with me.
The game tracks every NPC and how they feel about you. Making friends is a good strategy, but killing them could be too.
Here, you can actually hear Todd Howard speaking from experience, as he is known for having infamously murdered about 5 different development team members, where he then, in response, ran off to Honduras and hid until the statute of limitations ran out. After the statute of limitations ran out, he returned to the United States and proceeded to gloat about the people he had murdered. This all worked out very well for him, as he ended up actually being promoted at Bethesda.
Who's a good dog? You're a good dog. That's my puppy. Now be good. Mommy has to practice.
Even Thunder here uses rating AI. She's decided she wants to practice her marksman skill, so she's picked up a bow over here. She's decided she needs ammo, so she equips the quiver. And she can practice her skills. The same skill system governs her. And she sucks.
Terrible. Just terrible. I need a little pick-me-up.
And they'll even detect potions in the environment if they need them, so she's going to drink this potion. It's going to increase her marksman skill, have the same effect on her that it would have on me if I drank it. It automatically raises her skill, and now she's good at this activity, and that just works through the system.
That's better. Are you hungry? Is that why you were so
She's
grumpy?
picked up the deer meat here. The NPCs can pick up items. They can leave them for other characters or creatures they like.
Want to get some reading done.
Reading AI allows Thunder to detect the deer meat. He's going to eat it. And just like if I ate the deer meat, it's going to give him a stat boost. He's going to run around more. He has more energy. They'll take breaks, sit, read books, use items in the world. Oblivion has over 400 books, many of which raise your skills.
I said Mommy is reading.
They can even cast spells too. She's paralyzed Thunder here. They'll eat if they need to. How they get the food is up to them. They can steal it, they can buy it, they can grow it. Sleep when they want to. During certain times of the day, always good time for Thieves Guild folks to break in, or for vampires to do other unnatural things.
That is a bad puppy. I think perhaps you'd better go. I'm not feeling like myself at the moment.
We should. Let's get back to that quest. See what happened at Kvatch.
There's a lot here to discuss, but the primary point is Radiant AI. Now, I love the old Radiant AI system. We know very little about it. All we know is that the actual AI, the Radiant AI, was so capable of creating its own tasks, its own stuff to do to resolve the problems that's set up in its code, that it would go around and do crazy stuff. Like, every single NPC basically behaved like a sociopath, are the implications of what we know about the old Radiant AI system. At no point is the actual in-game Radiant AI as impressive as this little picture that we are shown inside of the E3 demo video. NPCs will not do things like search out potions. The closest thing that an NPC will do to searching out stuff is searching out a place to sit down to eat the food that's already present in its inventory, or if it's being attacked and it has like a high enough, I believe it's aggression, the AI will actually go seek out a weapon to fight back with. But otherwise, the AI does not do stuff like this. The AI does not train like this. The AI, there are AI packages that have the AI set to like stand in front of a dummy or whatever and hit it in places like the Fighters Guild, but they're not actively training. They don't get better. The system that we actually got in the release game for the Radiant AI was like, how do I put this? A lobotomized version of the actual Radiant AI that was originally made. The original Radiant AI would actively make up solutions for itself, but as development went on, this did nothing but create issues with the AI going off and doing really stupid stuff, getting itself killed, that kind of stuff. In fact, Radiant AI is the entire reason that essential NPCs had to be introduced, because in Morrowind, if you have an NPC, the NPC will either stand in one place or walk around the same small grid that it's assigned. In a game like Oblivion, with the AI moving around, going around, doing its own stuff, sometimes moving in between cities, the AI could die, and if that AI is like necessary to a major quest line, that is unfair to the player, for the player to just lose the ability to do their quest line or their thing because the AI went and got itself killed. Anyways, I'm going to quit gushing about the Radiant AI system because I want to give it multiple dedicated videos. With that, let's look at some of the other stuff we can see in this part of the presentation. The bookseller Estelle is still a bookseller in Release Oblivion. However, her dog Thunder the Dog is not present. However, there is a dog or wolfskin carpet in her upstairs room, which is a funny nod. Her room is also completely different. She no longer has the pieces that she would need to train her marksman skill or archery. There is no bow, no target, no potion. The claymore that is picked up in the presentation is also not present.
Bigger weapon may help. Equip the claymore here. This is my fast travel map. So even though the world is huge, you can select anywhere you know about in the map and instantly fast travel there. This gets you right to the fun.
You can see in this build of the game, the map is stylized incredibly differently and has strange miscellaneous locations marked on it for some reason. Once again, you can see Such up in the corner. And finally, in the release of the game, Kvatch does not have a road that runs through it. Instead, Kvatch sits up north on a road that runs off of the main road.
In the game's main quest, the Emperor has been killed, and the gates to Oblivion have opened. You alone must find his lost son, or the whole world will fall.
We never even knew what hit us. They were inside the city before we knew what was happening.
Another gate just opened. We'll take the fight to them this time. To Oblivion! We can use your help. Let's go. This way! That's the last of them! Come on! Look out! What do you think, sir? Hold here or go in?
You dare challenge the power of Oblivion? Find him and close shut the jaws of Oblivion.
So, that is the end of the presentation. The map shown off that you saw there in Kvatch, that is a map that can actually be seen and messed with inside of the actual game. So that will be, we will be exploring the Kvatch E3 map in a later video. That concludes this video where we looked at and discussed the cut content, removed stuff, changes between launch and the E3 2005 presentation of Oblivion. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.